Okay, Zoe fans, well, here it is. I was sort of thinking about doing this for a while, and I finally got round to sort of compiling my list of the good checks to do on your Zoe. Just kind of things that aren't necessarily going to be done on a service, things that I've seen issues but they're not usually covered in general maintenance, and just kind of like simple things you can do at home. See if you've got an issue brewing or just keeping your Zoe kind of in a good condition, really. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Please have a look at the membership as well. There's more of the kind of more involved sort of maintenance, but it's at home stuff that you can do if necessary. There's a little bit of a breeze, but hopefully that's not going to stop us too much. So I've got a small amount of gear, but nothing particularly mad, kind of stuff you probably mostly will have at home. So I've got it's actually a body clip removal tool, but really useful for getting connectors off, if not a little flat bladed screwdriver. Tyre compressor, there's probably one under the floor in the boot, but I quite like that one because you can set the pressure and then it turns off when it gets there. Some kind of oil, I kind of like this one for a certain thing we're going to do. Some electrical contact cleaner. Everyone who owns an EV, in my opinion, should have contact cleaner. Okay, I don't mind which one you get. This one is from one of the motor factors. I think it was GSF, just what they had on the shelf, and it's a little bit more compressed. It's got a good spray on it. This is the Halfords one, seems to work as well, but it's not really that compressed. It kind of just like wheezes out a bit, which is a little bit disappointing because it is in a can. It's just not got a very good spray on it, but it's obviously easy to get hold of. A torch, this has got tape around it just because I have a habit of putting it up here and then leaving it there. So it's got some white tape around it, but like a good LED torch. That was from Halfords that I bought myself just before Christmas. And that is a little 12-volt trickle charger. Okay, so first thing on the list, this is not really covered anywhere on the servicing, but it's really common on the Zoe for this little hinge to get dry, and then the flap can crack off. And the downside of that is you're going to get moisture in there, basically, which is not ideal. So if you get some of this, I don't mind if you've got WD-40, whatever you've got, something oily, and just squirt it in that hinge, all right? Give it a bit of a spray, maybe a little bit underneath, but yeah. And then that will basically just keep that. You can spray it in there as well if you want. You can see this has got damp in here as well from just where the car's been charging. So you're always going to get a bit of damp in there. But yeah, that's really common for going dry and cracking off. Next thing, I've missed something actually out of my list. One thing I've missed is cotton buds. You need some of them, and I'm going to show you what they're for. I kept that in my pocket because it's damp. You ideally want, this is for the next check, your contact cleaner. I'll show you the difference between these two. You want about probably 5 or 6 cotton buds. And what we're going to do is just clean all these pins, because these always get dirt. And obviously your charge cable is left outside. I've had bugs in my charge cables, all that kind of stuff. And all of this, it just all gets really dirty. And then if you get enough dirt in it, you're going to go to charge and it's not going to work because the comms is just not going to, not going to be able to communicate through the dirt. You're not going to have a good connection. So this pin is recessed, so don't worry about that. That's perfectly normal. I do as part of my EV service, I clean these charge ports and all the pins. Not a lot of places will do, but I do. And I think it's a good idea to do so. I've tried a few different ways, but cotton bud is absolutely perfect. So basically, you can probably guess how this is going to go. It's not rocket science. You can see that one's got a good spray though. Spray a couple of pins, stick it in, move it around. I've tried with like a little cloth and a screwdriver, but it just doesn't really work as well. Yeah, and you can see that's coming out fairly dirty. And the same in there. So I will do that round all the pins, and I'll show you this one just for the sake of. You can see that one kind of sprays, but it's just not as good. And then this stuff just evaporates. So it's designed to get rid of corrosion and sort of the kind of thing you get on metal pins. But you can kind of see that pin is now nice and shiny, and that one's nice and shiny, and you're going to get a good connection. It's also a good idea to check in the ends of your charging cables as well. I've had bugs nesting in there, all sorts. And then when you put the charging cable in, it sort of crushes the bug. Pretty gross, but yeah, you can also use the cotton buds and yeah, just have a check. Obviously you're relying on it, so yeah, make sure it's in a good condition, otherwise you're going to have an issue. So next thing, what we're going to do next actually is this motor cooling fan, not with the torch. Right, so with your clip removal tool or screwdriver if you have one of those. So this connector, I've partially removed it because I have to do it with one hand. But yeah, the yellow bit slides back and then you sort of push on the back and pull it. But it's a little bit easier if you just gently lever the front of it with your screwdriver or your removal tool. But on a Zoe, it's quite common that these corrode. So you want to have a look in here, that one looks good. And then have a look down in there, and that one looks fine. And if there's any corrosion in there, just get your contact cleaner. I'm going to do it anyway because it's not going to cause any harm. And just spray that in there, okay? And it'll evaporate. You can get your cotton bud in there, or you might need something a little bit more abrasive if you have got real sort of corrosion in there. But yeah, that's definitely worth doing. The other thing you can do is once that's dried out, because I've sprayed it, so I'm going to put this straight back on, is with the car awake, if you put this one on and you remove this one, this fan will run at full speed provided the car is awake. So just press your key just to make sure the car's fully awake, dash is on kind of thing. You can hear it clicking there. So the car's awake, so there'll be power on this connector. So then put that one in, especially if it's corroded, because you're going to give it a test. That one in, take that one off, and it will run this fan at full speed. It sounds like a hairdryer, but then you will know that that connection is okay and that fan is working, and that is a motor cooling fan. It's not going to come on unless the motor's getting warm on a long journey, but obviously if it doesn't come on, you could potentially have an issue there. There can also be issues with AC valves leaking, so if you get your little torch, this is our next check. So if we look at the back here, what we're looking for is anything that looks really dirty. There's a little bit of dirt on that one, not too much. Oh, and I'm going to get wet now. Yeah, that little bit of dirt above that one, yeah, that's probably just dirt. But if it was all black like that and down this pipe, that indicates that there's a gas leak and the oil is coming out with the gas. And then what happens is, like, the dust and dirt sticks to the oil. So there's a tiny little bit there, but that's probably just, yeah, probably just normal kind of dirt really. I suspect that covered pipe gets more condensation. That's why it's got a cover on it. So not a major issue, but like over there you can see it's all, oh, I can see. You can see now too. Yeah, so that is all looking good basically. That's what you want to see. There's a few valves around, and I'm getting wet now. Yeah, there's some over here as well. So yeah, just have a good look around and make sure that is all good, because I've seen those leak. There's also some down here. I think you can just about see some. Boom, boom, boom. You can see some of the connectors down there as well. But yeah, just have a good inspect with your torch. It does tend to hold a bit of moisture down at the bottom of the bumper there, but yeah, just have a look and see what you can find. The next thing is the air conditioning compressor noise, and I'm just going to get a coat. So one moment, please. Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought the sky had rained all the rain that possibly could exist, but evidently there was a little bit more available. It's quite useful actually, because the contact cleaner I sprayed in here is now evaporated, so I've popped that back on and I can show you that other test now. So I'm just going to make sure the car's awake. So yeah, it's clicking and stuff, it's nice and awake. Then we take this one off, and then that fan starts. So yeah, so if you did have a bit of corrosion, you know that that's kind of okay. It does get pretty noisy, but yeah, you know that your motor cooling fan is working, which is good. The next thing we're going to do is turn on the heating and just check the air conditioning compressor for noise. So what we are listening for, what we expect and what's normal is fans, is a whining noise, is any clicking or buzzing, even like donking noises, because the valves can make quite a donk. So like there's some of the valves are up there. Yeah, but we don't want to hear any rattling or grinding or anything like that. So I'm going to turn it on just to kind of give you a baseline. Obviously it'll sound a little bit different through the camera, but yeah, so that's on. You also get the fan obviously for the blower inside. So it's buzzing, it's whirring. The fans are starting on the radiator. So yeah, so you can get that clicky, buzzy noise. That's normal. Obviously the fact that I'm getting good heat inside the cabin, hopefully you can still hear me, is an indication that it's working. But yeah, they can be noisy. You can get that jet turbine kind of whine, but yeah, just have a listen to that. I get quite a few non-charged Zoes where the cause is actually the air conditioning compressor's got a short in it, so you know that's stopped someone from charging their car and become a bigger issue, probably because it's got low on gas. And if you do have a noise, get the gas level checked. Beep, beep. Yeah, and just if it's low, obviously check for any leaks and all that kind of stuff. Right, next thing is to look at the under tray. I'm not going to get down there because the floor's wet and I didn't bring a kneeling pad, but yeah, just check for any oily leaks, or can potentially be coolant, but you'd see coolant, you know, if you had a leak of coolant, it'd be low here. So you're looking for oily leaks on the underneath of that under tray, basically. So you can use your torch for that one, and yeah, obviously if you've got any leaks, then yeah, I would get your gear oil checked. And the other thing you can do, which I need my torch for, where did I put my torch? One moment. Right, I did bring something to kneel on this time. We might as well have a look underneath. So yeah, it's kind of dark. Oh, you can see the under tray there. It's kind of damp because everything's damp, and there's a hole there to the left where the motor cooling fan sort of exits. But yeah, on a dry day, ideally, if there ever is one, yeah, just check that for sort of oily patches, basically. So that could be air conditioning oil, or it could be gearbox oil. The next thing we're going to do is look below the drive shafts. So you definitely need a good torch, and not a phone torch. Phone torch is no good. This one has got an adjustable beam on it, and if I do it in front of the camera, that'll be much more useful. And that's why I got it, because it can do a real narrow beam, and that's what we need for this check. So what we're going to do is look below the drive shafts. Yeah, so if we look in here, right, I've got to be able to see it and get you to see it as well. Right, I can see where I'm looking. I'm going to go down one. Right. Can we see? Oh yeah, you can see it there. So you can see, yeah, oh, if it'll focus. Did briefly. Hang on, I've got to balance the torch and then sort out the focus. One moment, please. Oh yeah, there you go. It's focusing on the reduction gear now. So we are looking at the reduction gearbox, and you can just about, let's try and put the torch in here as well. No, that's too many things through one hole. It's much easier with just your eyes, honestly. I've got to put the torch in a different gap. You can just about see it. Ah, you can see it there. See that ridgy bit? Huh? Keeps going out of focus. Go on, focus. Let me just tap. I moved the torch. Go on, focus. It did briefly. Oh, there we go. So that you are looking at the end of the drive shaft going into the reduction gearbox, and you're looking at the bottom of that for leaks, basically, because there's like a rubber seal, and that drive shaft is obviously spinning in that seal, so you can get a leak in there. So yeah, that all looks good. That all looks okay. You can see that drive shaft there with its sticker on it. So yeah, just look below that for any leaks, basically. So we're going to do the same again, slightly more difficult because it goes further through. Let's see, where do we need to look? We need to be further down, hold on. Right, so I don't think the camera is going to focus, but from this side, so there's a black piece of metal, then there's a big black pipe, and then there's a silvery bolt. So between there, I can see with my eye, but you probably can't with the camera because it won't focus. But through there, so the metal bolt right in the middle, which it's not quite focusing on. Oh yeah, it's kind of focusing now. And you can just about see behind it, there's a hole with like a silvery outline. So that metal bracket, metal bolt, is on a bracket that's holding the drive shaft. And the drive shaft is going into the reduction box. The reduction box is on the passenger side, hence it's extra long. But yeah, with my eye, I can see what you're looking for is the bottom of where that drive shaft goes in, and you're looking for any oil leaks again. Yeah, if you see any oily patches underneath that under tray or on those drive shafts, then you need to be investigating for either AC leaks or getting your reduction gear oil level checked, basically. So hopefully that makes sense. Right, 12-volt batteries we need to talk about quickly. So it's kind of well known that Zoes eat the batteries. It's more common on early Zoes, and the reason for this is the voltage that they charge at up to about 2017 especially, but kind of all Zoes, the voltage is quite low, so they never get fully charged. And it's kind of the same with all cars, but seems to be worse with EVs. I think because you hear it, you don't hear like an engine turning over slowly, so you don't get an early warning. But the 12-volt batteries, it doesn't look after them at all, and I think that's why they put it on the 3-year replacement schedule. Bit better with later ones, but if you've got a battery charger, 12-volt charger, I particularly like, sorry, I pushed things under this car so it's soaking wet. I particularly like this kind of low amp maintenance charger. I think this is just like a 1 amp smart charger. Yeah, 1 amp. Particularly useful if it's a low amp maintenance charger. Basically, what you need to do is crack the bonnet like I've got here, then lock the car, walk away, wait for 15 minutes, okay? And then come back after 15 minutes, the car will be fully asleep. Ideally, make sure you've got no timers for like your preheating or anything like that. Connect up your maintenance charger, plug it in, you can shut the bonnet, yeah, just leave it overnight, or if you've got a slightly more powerful charger, leave it for a few hours, whatever's relevant for the charger you've got, but ideally a low amp maintenance charger, and leave it overnight and just let it maintain that battery a little bit and just make sure it is fully charged, and that will kind of keep you going, especially if you've had issues maybe where the car's not waking up for a night charge, or you're getting an odd sort of weird issue. Yeah, just kind of just do that with your charger. Right, so damp we need to talk about quickly. Zoes can get damp, particularly in a couple of areas. One is in the front footwells and one is the rear under the floor. It's the fan that's got the line. Yeah, sorry. So this side has got the battery isolator. We don't want to go in there, and that there is a good reason. So we don't need to remove this, and the reason is that there is full battery pack voltage under there, and we don't need to go under there. Basically, it's not necessary. What we want to do is just kind of get our fingers around all this insulation and give that a good feel. Basically, looks like this one's been out at some point, but yeah, just kind of there's sort of a metal ridge here, so obviously you can have a look in here because you can see down there, but then yeah, just feel this insulation and see if it's damp at all, because if it is, there's some drains that can get blocked, and there's a member video about how to unblock those. Basically on the passenger side a little bit more difficult, but you can probably feel if there's any moisture in there. In the boot they can also weep a tiny little bit on the seals around the boot, and what then basically happens is that ends up sitting in this little well. So just get down there, get this, have a look in here. You can take this out if you need to, but just have a look, see if this is damp. One of the previous cars I had in, the guy was looking for the locking wheel nut key, and he basically just to bring it for repair, and he didn't realise, but there was like an inch of water in the bottom of there, and he cleared it out and dried it out, and it must just be like a tiny weep on that seal, but it does happen, and it just kind of makes the car a bit damp, and you get bad smells and things. But obviously if you clear it out you can see how bad it is, and just yeah, make sure that's good basically. Beep, beep. Right, while we're on with damp, rear lights. So the connectors for these lights are under here, really exposed. If I go under I can show you. See, there's one there. So yeah, they really are subject to moisture, these lights and the connectors. So check the lights. You can take the connector off and have a look at it if you want. Spray some of your contact cleaner in it, that kind of thing. But yeah, just make sure those lights are working. The Zoe will sort of alert you, because at least with the fog light, because if you put your lights on, turn that heating off so it's not too noisy for you, turn the radio off, when that light comes on, if that comes on and goes off, so it's on and I know mine works because that's staying on, but it does a kind of bulb failure warning, because if when you turn it on it goes off like that and you haven't turned it off, that the car is telling you that there's nothing there, the bulb's not working, it's corroded or something's happened. So yeah, but yeah, turn them on, check them. They are quite sort of fixable, but sometimes you have to faff around cleaning out the connector. And if you do it, obviously, the night before your MOT, you know, then it's a bit of a stress. Whereas if you do it on a Sunday 2 weeks before, not a massive issue. The rear clusters can get a bit of moisture in as well. Just, we can get cracks, but they can just kind of get moisture in as well. So just have a look at that, and then eventually they just corrode and stop working, basically. Right, tyre pressures might be an odd one to include on the list, because basically Zoes have tyre pressure monitoring. Oh, excuse me. So you think, well, that's not that important, but up to 2019 Zoes monitor the tyre pressures, but that monitoring just makes sure they're all about the same, basically. So if you just don't do anything with your tyres, and they you know, all tyres will lose a tiny little bit over a long enough period of time, basically they are gonna go down, but they're all going to go down evenly. And it's quite common to get a car in and the tyre wear is really uneven, just because they thought, oh, well, the car's got tyre pressure monitoring, I haven't had any alerts or anything, it's absolutely fine. Whereas they're all at like 27 and it should be like 36 or whatever. It's printed on the one of these. Yeah, it's printed on there. What I would say is some people pump up their tyres a little bit higher. Okay, a little bit is okay. Beep, beep. You know, a couple of PSI, absolutely fine. But I had one car in and the tyres were like 45 PSI. That's just not safe. Okay, that's just ridiculous. So yeah, you can pump them up a little bit more if you like, but don't pump them up too much higher. Your tyres should be XL rated. They come out of the factory with XL ones, so these 91 XL. It's not an MOT failure if you don't have XL ones, but they can crack before they wear out. So yeah, it's best to get the XL ones. And the other thing is you can get quite significant wear on the inside. The Zoe's fairly heavy and it's hard on the suspension, it's hard on the front tyres. So if you just start it, turn the wheel, just have a good look at the inside, because the tyre can look really good on the outside, but on the inside it's like bald, basically. And I've even seen ones that look fine, but they've actually got cords showing on the inside. So yeah, just kind of the Zoe's are just a little bit more yeah, a little bit more subject to that, basically. That's the basic checks that kind of everyone can do if you just got some basic stuff. Oh, there's one more actually that I just thought of. I've seen quite a few Zoes where this cap, so this is one of the fill ports for the AC, one there and one there. So we're not going to do anything too exciting, but I've seen them where they sort of leak a tiny little bit from that port. So it's worth just taking the caps off and having a listen and just seeing if there's anything there, because I've had probably last 2 or 3 cars now, yeah, where 2 out of 3 of them, that's actually leaking a little bit. If that is leaking a little bit, if you get your screwdriver and you just want to depress it a tiny bit, some gas will come out and it's under quite a lot of pressure. But yeah, just flick that. But yeah, take care with that one, but yeah, give that a go basically. And that is about it. So hopefully that's interesting, and yeah, I will catch you all in a bit. Yeah, any comments, drop them below, or other checks you can think of. But yeah, that's my list. All right, catch you later.